Just as sure as StreamYard will never completely get all of the right broadcast, just as sure as that, just as sure as there are comics on Wednesday, just as sure as there is, I don't know, I'm not sure what else is as certain as we're back. It's Tuesday. We're here. Comic Industry Insiders Live, our weekly conversation about the industry of comics and the people behind the scenes who make it all go. Speaking of people behind the scenes this week, I'm giving a couple of people as much time as possible. So I'm going to bring up a couple of friends here to discuss and probably to embarrass me. That seems to be the theme of this week's show. Megan.
Yeah.
Just saying, you didn't leave New York Comic Con because I lost my badge. You left because the hotel thing.
And because
right?
because at the end of the one night you had lost your badge.
I didn't lose it. I left it in Brooklyn and I had to go back for it. That's a very different scenario. I'm just saying.
There was not time to guarantee that I could acquire a badge based on the fact that Repop is very protective of their additional badges in case of loss.
Speaking as someone that Repop is very protective about. Hey, it's
Hello.
This is going to be.
They love their plastic more than they love their plastic.
Oh, okay. Well, let's don't go making friends this early in the show.
No. And my rant last week was not directed at anyone in particular. Remember? I recall being at home and getting the ping. Do we know anybody that has an extra badge? And I reached out to 6 or 7 of my exhibitor friends, but as it is New York Comic Con, nobody was near their cell phone. They were all selling stuff. So you sent Megan home early and she got free cheese. That's what I remember.
I got to ride on the fancy car on the Amtrak because they upgraded me.
The fancy
Y'all ever get to ride the first class Excella? You get treated very fancy. I think that's better than any date I've ever been on in my life. It says a lot about me, but also says a lot about Amtrak.
I know it says a lot about the dudes you're dating. That's what it says.
For those of you who are in now, we're not so much. We don't always spend this time talking about Megan's romantic life.
No,
but occasionally.
Amtrak.
This is our pre-show conversation that kind of just gives everybody a chance to come into the room, gives us all a chance to kind of make sure our microphones are working, and gives everybody a chance to embarrass me before we get started. This week I definitely deserved it because we didn't do a whole lot till the last minute, so I'm going to bring him on last. So I'm going to bring Brian. Trevor can. Sorry, buddy. We're giving you as much time as possible. Listen, we got it done though. We got all the data.
We did. Hey, it's end of a quarter. A lot of things are moving. A lot of pieces are popping. Yeah. Busy times.
I want to say hello to Marish Comic Arts, Cartoon Arts. Marish Cartoon Arts. Hey, how are you? Those of you who are in the room, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching us today? Where are you listening? And especially if you're following this coming up on, you're picking this up later, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. It's been a weird week for me. I don't know. You guys, are you guys feeling this? There's something in the air. There's an energy that I'm not sure. Oh, also, I don't have all my lights on.
It is 106 degrees with the heat index here today. Yeah. It's supposed to get hotter as the week wears on. And is that
an actual 106 or is this a hyperbolic?
That's the heat it's the heat index, right? It's 93 outside right now on the thermometer, but they say the heat index is 106. I wouldn't know because I'm I'm selling the farm. I have it at 67 degrees in my house, and I have the air running constantly. So you know what? My bill is going to be high, but I'm not going to sweat.
From my secret underground lair, it gets down as low as 16 Celsius, which is like 59, I think.
Yeah, that's the way to live.
No, it's too cold.
No, that is too.
But I don't have a choice.
No.
I want to wear a hoodie on August 1st. By God, let's go.
There are days where I literally go work outside for half an hour just to warm up so I can feel my hands again because it gets so cold down here.
Django, what's the weather like in the middle of Wyoming? And why do we know why Django's in the middle of Wyoming?
Yeah, he's on a vision quest with his mom, so he's driving all across the country. Mostly Wyoming.
Cold. Gamer cold. That is definitely.
Oh my God,
that's a thing.
So cold.
I'm not. Did you do free RPG day, Tommy? Did you guys have a holiday last Saturday?
Oh, free RPG.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't even think any of the game stores around me celebrate it. Isn't that interesting?
There's one near me that bought the Dark Crystal from the TV show adaptation. So I went to go see the Dark Crystal, and then I also went to look at their gaming stuff. But yeah, it was free RPG day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're mostly TCG games there.
Cool.
I've got a comic for you. I'll DM you.
Tommy doesn't really do the RPG stuff. Dumb space for it. It's gotta be a real thing, man. It's gotta be you really have to commit to RPGs in order to have that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like you need a dedicated gaming space and stuff like that.
I want to see what the new Third Eye has. Like, are they going to put in a section for in-store gaming?
Well, you got to assume that if they're filling a Walmart, there's going to be a third of it's going to be dedicated to Warhammer by itself.
I mean, a third of it should be dedicated to a classic Walmart-style cafe, right? Like, you remember the old like Woolco style cafes, right? Back in the day.
See, I was partial to the Kmart subs when I was
a kid. Kmart with the icy. We gotta have an icy station, you know?
I just want some rice pudding and like Jello with whipped cream on top of it. That's all I'm looking for.
Bologna sandwich with shredded lettuce and tomato and American cheese.
Bologna.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. That sounds like the most American school lunch.
That's exactly it.
Actually, before we get there, tomorrow is Canada Day. So
happy Canada Day, bro.
Canada Day? Like you guys get a whole day?
Yeah.
What happened to America Day? We don't get America Day.
You call it the 4th of July.
It's Saturday.
You should. You should.
Shut up.
There was a whole Zdarsky about it last year.
Yes, I remember.
We're just more honest about ours. Speaking of, did anyone get the collected Zdarsky?
Me.
Oh, I have not yet.
Oh my God, it's so great. It's so terrific. Yeah.
I will pick it up at my shop at Comic City in Macomb or Chesterfield tomorrow.
Oh, you're a Comic City fella.
Oh yeah, it's less than a mile from my house.
Isn't that interesting? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love those folks.
Oh, they're great.
Bob and his wife, I think Judy, is it her name?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're terrific.
Yeah. All right. I want to bring our intrepid producer up because I feel like he probably has. I don't know. I haven't been looking at the chat. Is he ready? Are we good to go? I think we might be.
He's chatting.
Never mind. We're good. Yeah. Okay. Good. Shoo. There he is. All right. We're ready. No audio from you, Trevor. No audio.
Oh man.
Oh,
we're the worst.
That's okay. It's all right, buddy. We didn't really want to hear what you had to say. You're better seen than heard. You know what I'm saying?
Poor Trevor.
When he's that cute, you gotta really kind of focus in on his abilities. If you're watching this later, you're not on Facebook, obviously, because we're not live on Facebook. I don't know why. We've never been able to go through all 4 channels.
We're not live on Facebook. I see live on Facebook right now.
On yours, not on the Prana one.
No, I see both. I see both Prana and.
Really?
I'll check. Just give me a moment.
Okay, carry on.
I will say, Trevor, you're an excellent beard today. It's looking really, really sharp. So well
very
done.
Trimmed.
Yes, it looks really great and still thick and robust. Very good stuff. It's a delicate balance.
It is. It's difficult to get that right, and I know this. That's because why I just gave up and went down to stubble. My summer stubble. This has been. I think you know what. It's one of the most comfortable and yet I worry boring pre-show banter.
Oh, without question. We've lost like half of our viewers. They'll be back at 2, but it's fine.
So even though it says that it's live, it's not actually working.
Did we get shadow banned?
I don't think that's the actual thing.
What are you guys talking about today on the program?
Today on the program on this here internet program, we're talking legitimately about who's going to be who's the first national chain in comic shops. I don't know why it took me five tries to get that going. But who is going to be it? There's going to be we counted out 93 chains, meaning if you say 2 stores or more, there are 93 chains in comics. One of them we feel like is this close to becoming a national chain, getting all the pieces together that would take in order to do that. And I think we're going to have a couple of the candidates that are possible going to be that coming into the show, and we're going to discuss them all. We're going to have a like Sports Center style leaderboard. It's going to be a good time. Yeah. Speaking
we're
of,
live on all channels, my friend. We're live on all channels.
How did you do that? I couldn't get that to go. How'd you? Oh,
magic!
Well done. Amazing.
Many times I'll do that and it'll actually disappear, but until that happens.
Tommy, no, we didn't get them. How many stores are they total? Because we had to cut it at 5 stores and below, or 6 stores and below, something like that. 6 stores and below or above. Excuse me. Anything was 5 and below. There's just too many of them. Some of my favorites, Ultimate Comics, wouldn't have made it. Yeah, 2 would not make this list. 93 chains that have 2 or more stores. I'm going to bring in. Oh, we have one. I'm going to take a quick high, and we're going to bring him in. John, what's up, buddy?
What's up,
I caught
everybody?
you mid chewing. That's good.
It's true.
What are you eating?
Adam, go get your fedora. We need more fedora on this show.
Impossible Whopper Day for me. So.
Oh,
nice, awesome. All right. Well, John, just so you know how this works, we're going to take you off, and we're going to do a whole bunch of other stuff, and we're going to bring you back in, and we're going to talk about what it takes to run a regional chain like yours, and what it takes to grow a regional chain like yours to something national. So we're going to look forward to that. But at this point, I'm going to drop everybody, and we're going to light this candle by Megan. Bye. All right, let's go. Welcome to Comic Industry Insiders Live, a weekly conversation about the comic industry, the people behind it, the people who make it work. And, it's honestly just an opportunity for us to all get together and talk about the thing that we think is really interesting, that is more interesting than what most people think of as sports, I guess. I don't know. I'm not into sports personally. So this is way more fun to me. This week, we're going to be talking about who is going to be the first national chain in comics. We had a prediction about this early in this year. I think that's actually how we launched our year, was making that prediction, and it seems to be growing. The stores, the chains are getting bigger and bigger. Helping me with this is once again my co-host, the man who is going to be celebrating Canada Day, if you can believe it, Mr. Brian Garside. How you doing?
you say that like it's a crime. Can you believe this idiot? Canada Day?
Canada Day. Is that real? It
Yeah.
can't be a real
Yeah.
thing. I think you just
Yeah.
made that up. I
Yeah.
think you often
Well,
make up these sort of Canadian holidays as though they're
it's
real.
one of our least like fake sounding holidays. Like, civic holiday, not great. But at least Canada Day sounds legit, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think there was like I remember going to England and they had something like it was called like Banking Day or
Yeah,
like
there's bank holiday. It's literally called bank holiday.
which is such a strange reason to. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. The Trevor, I'm just now seeing your question about sending that link. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do that and keep my head straight on this. So maybe you could send them another reminder. I apologize. Okay, great. What today are we talking about, buddy? I'm a little scattered. This one came
Well,
in hot.
I'm actually just working on the slide deck as we speak. So let me just get to the beginning of it. And whenever you see me looking over to my other camera, it's usually because I'm looking at the slide deck. But I'm going to pull it
Yes.
up right now. Here we go.
I
So
don't know who that is. That's not a real person. Robin Scherbatsky. That's not a real
yeah,
person.
I've never heard that person.
Yeah.
So our topic today is who is the first net. Oh, I need help if I
Oh boy.
share my screen.
There we go.
Wow,
There we
we are
go.
rough this week. Who is
It's
the
okay.
first national comics chain? And we're going to be speaking to a couple of really, really great retailers who are key to this and who could become the first national comics chain. But basically, if you look at that map, you see a variety of shops that have more than one location. Most of them more than, what was your cutoff, like 5?
Yeah, we ended up with I had to cut it off at 6 and above. So, like for instance, you see Samurai Comics there and Bedrock City. They could not make this list.
5 only, right?
Ultimate Comics, unfortunately, did not make this list, but it's an impressive list of people that 6 and above. We've got 6 spots, and including one that's, I mean, you could argue is 2, including 2 that you could argue are not typically comic shops. Like you and I might not think of them as comic shops, but I think they're worth the part of the conversation anyway. I think it's a fascinating time where we're seeing so much interest in the comic shops that they're able to grow rapidly.
Yeah.
A couple of these we mentioned in the pre-show banter. Third Eye added a Walmart to theirs, and Coliseum of Comics went into a new state with 2 brand new locations, like just recently. So the people are growing very quickly.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, it makes sense because we are in that kind of generational flux where a lot of the old guard are starting to sell, and one of the options is to sell to a larger company. One of the
Correct.
options is to sell to one of your customers, to your employees, maybe to a new investor. And I think all of those are super interesting because new blood has new eyes on everything, right? And
Yeah.
so they look at their systems, they look at their product mix, they look at their customer, they look at their clientele, they look at their location, and they see what makes sense and what doesn't. So yeah, I'm super excited to talk about kind of the with the folks that we've got on, you know, what goes into those acquisitions and also what goes into just like, you're going to open your 7th store because yeah. Yeah, just
Exactly.
kidding.
And also you think about, these stores that have been around for a while, they're all of their systems are designed for a very specific period in comics, right? When we all had one distributor, we had one POS company, we had, you really could get by with really one account,
Yeah,
and you just had one shipment coming in per week. All of these stores that are now in an environment that is rapidly becoming more complex, they have to either decide to become more sophisticated or not. Time to sell, time to step
yeah,
away.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like that's my former partner decided to get out because he was just like,
Yeah.
it's too much for what he wanted to put into it, which God bless you. This is an interesting question from Comics Monger, also known as Gabe. I
Yeah.
wonder if there are large traditional or niche retailers that see growth and wonder if it could be for them. That's, I've been thinking a lot about um, GameStop, and up here, GameStop resold back to the original company that owned them, and so now they're EB Games again.
Yeah.
And you go into an EB Games here, and I don't know what GameStops are like recently because I haven't been to one in about a year. Um, there's a huge TCG section now, and there's a massive manga section, and there's a huge like what are those things called? The Gundam model kit kind of section. And there's a very tiny game section because games have gone less and less physical. There are very few physical discs in games, and to the point where the new Grand Theft Auto is going to come physically with a code inside of it. So these guys are seeing other markets, and I'm sure they're looking at comics and probably more graphic novels than comics, but toys like EB Games and GameStop are full of toys now. And
Yeah.
we've lost the kind of toy centric businesses like Toys R Us and all those. So I think we've got a story about that today. So yeah, it's interesting. I think there's probably potential where we could get one of these large national chains to start carrying more of our stuff. What does that look like?
And we have a couple of those, I think, that are actually in our list that I think would be an interesting part of the conversation. But let's not give too much of that away. Let's go back to
You got
that
it.
that
You
segment.
got it.
I know we have a bunch. We've got a brand new bestseller list
Mhm.
that is hot off the presses, and by that I mean legitimately we finalized this moments ago.
Who's still burning?
We are going to be talking about who is going to be the first national comics chain. But first, let's get into some headlines. What do you think? I kind of feel like we need a
Yeah.
headline transition at some point. We should do like a
You're about to get a really fun one because I just added another story. So
right on.
let's start with
Awesome.
Jendi. Oh man, why do you do this to me?
Jendi
The creator of
Tarkovsky.
the creator of Primal, and he did Samurai Jack, and there was the Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars
Yep.
shorts that were back in like maybe 2001 or so. He is developing a new animated series for Prime Video based on Conan the Barbarian.
This is so cool. And I think that, this says a lot. We keep coming back to this, and we're probably going to be talking about this more and more. In fact, I think we were even discussing, it was in the pre-show before we got started, about how the animated series for the Absolute books are going to be just such a huge piece. Dexter's Lab, right? Powerpuff. Jeez. Yeah, good point. Like this, what we're seeing now is these comic properties that have lived mostly in comics, right? Obviously there's Conan the Barbarian, the movie, but these comic book properties that are going to make that transition into animation very quickly, as opposed to like waiting or fighting it out. Like as the barrier for animation comes down, we're gonna start seeing these series come forward, and I just think that's something good for comics, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Robert Kirkman talked about this at the Comics Pro this last year, about how manga is not huge because it is manga, or because it's somehow better than comics, or because the Japanese somehow read more than we do. Manga is big because the manga to anime pipeline. And
Yeah.
once we can get the comics to animation pipeline working properly and scaling and get that going, there's no reason why American comics can't be enjoying the same growth that anime and manga do. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Also, like Conan is like such a amazing evergreen property that like we sell as much Conan as we do most midline Marvel and DC titles.
Yeah.
It always shocks me every month when I do our Conan polls, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of people. Like a quarter of my people get Conan.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I,
All
I
right.
get it. Yeah.
I just added this, and you mentioned it. Hold on
Oh,
to your hats, people. The absolute, absolute.
uh,
Batman is getting animated. See, this is what happens when you add a
did we not talk
slide at
about
the
this
last
last week? I
second.
thought we did. Yeah.
No, we kind of missed it. It is so the DC announced a bunch of stuff like a crypto animated series, but the big one was Absolute Batman, and instantly, Absolute Batman #1 skyrocketed in
Yeah.
price. Went from like I think it was going for around 130, 140 to I saw it like 350 the other day. So yeah, and again, there's a run on. I had a whole mess of like third through ninth printings, and there's a massive run on those as well. So good news. Like DC really has managed to capitalize on this stuff when it happens, and I'm super excited with this.
And I think that what we've seen, I honestly think this is going to be, again, did we talk about this? Did we talk about this in the pre-show banter, or did we talk about it before? Megan actually brought up a really fantastic point of Scott Snyder has done such an amazing job of noticing what it is about manga and anime that gets people excited about them. And
Yep.
and he's put all of that into Absolute Batman. So we're going to
Yep.
see that come through in these animated series. I don't think there's any way that this doesn't become just a monster. My buddy Joe loves to say, people don't understand just how much gas this is going to put on the fire. Like,
oh yeah,
we're about to see some of the biggest growth that has ever happened in this industry, and it's going to be on the back of some of this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Megan's saying we talked about this before we turned it on, so there you go. We gotta do that earlier. Yeah. So in this announcement, there was I'm pulling this up now. Absolute Batman, Joker, Laugh Riot, Crypto. I think that's it. Is that everybody? I wanted to say there was an Absolute Wonder Woman. Is there not? Is that
that wasn't announced yet. But
all right, I'm thinking of something else we're going to talk about later in the show. But yeah, this is going to be huge. This is going to be massive.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of huge, everyone's saying retailers are sleeping on Hello Kitty.
We pulled this one from that. We literally pulled this headline from a Bleeding Cool article that I thought was absolutely worthwhile, because I think one of the things we're going to start seeing, we've seen this happen so much in blind bags, right? We're seeing blind bags kind of take over. I think the next evolution of that is going to be what are called pack-ins, right? So blind bags essentially it's a comic. It could be a different cover. It could be a different comic if you're Robert Kirkman. But what we're not seeing so much is these pack-ins, and the pack-ins are actually cheaper than the actual blind bags. So I think we're going to start seeing this a lot of the free gift inside of a comic. That's going to be a big piece. What's a poly bag? Yeah. See, this is somebody who is this is somebody who's setting the table for something that's going to come over. Anyway,
like I think this is the kind of thing also that, like, I don't know that the data is prepared for, and so we need to start thinking about that. Like,
how do you mean
from that perspective? I don't think we have a data field for polybags or blind bags. Like, that's just not and we should really be adding that kind of stuff. It's important, because the way that you package that is also different. Like the way you bag a blind bagged item is different than the way that you bag a non-blind bag item.
Wait, that's interesting. Would you have a different UPC for the bagged version versus an unbagged version?
No, I don't think so. I think they'd be the same. But well, I mean, the thing that's inside of the blind bag is often a different UPC. It is usually a different UPC. But no, polybagged versus non-polybagged. It's just more like how you're storing things and stuff. Because remember, some of these like other, when we're talking about the data, we're talking about a lot more mature, like more ERP, like enterprise resource planning systems that need to know what the shape of a thing is, as well as what is inside of it. So yeah, it's there's some things to think about.
You know what? Tommy points out stickers are the best thing to add value, right, on a book that will appeal to multiple generations. Yeah. I agree with him. I think it's a really interesting point too, because they are cheap to print and they are flat, right? Now, the other things that, like, let's say an AOL disc you put in there, that's going to be really hard, right, on the book itself. But a flat thing right up against the comic, that's going to add huge value. You know, he's really good at this was Ari at shoot, what is the name of that company?
Oh, Silver Sprocket.
Silver Sprocket. They do these really amazing little sticker sheets to promote their books. Man, can you imagine once they start polybagging those in?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
could
for
have
sure,
town with that,
for sure.
right?
Well, they sell those stickers too for like $5-6 each, and like that's just money because it just flows through so quickly.
Yeah, you ask Matt Rosenberg about floppy records. That's gonna be I don't know. Maybe, who knows? Yeah.
That recent Magic the Gathering card that was included with the first printing of Avengers Armageddon, and apparently they're going to do another printing. The second printing will also have the same polybagged card in it. So yeah, it's definitely a thing right now.
It's going to be. I will tell you, when we started this show last year, and we had somebody who was involved with the show kept saying, "Blind bags are dead. Blind bags are dead." I'm like, no, we're going to be seeing this for at least a year. I think polybags are just starting to scale up. So
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do to prepare for that. I mean, if it's metadata, if it's, if you're a collectible supply company, maybe start thinking about the fact that these things are going to start getting thicker. Just keep that in mind, that we're coming in for something. It's coming in for a really interesting time.
Absolutely. Speaking of interesting times, look what you did. Look what you did. Look what you did. You Matman.
Listen,
First appearance of Spawn 77 is on the cover of the secret Spawn cover of Comics the Magazine.
Yes, we did this. If you got a bundle of Comics the Magazine number 5, you got one of those copies was this Spawn variant, also by Mark Spears. The A cover was Mark Spears, the B cover was Mark. When Mark Spears and Todd McFarlane Productions say, "Hey, do you want to do a secret variant?" You say, "Okay, let's go." And yeah, $75. Did not expect that, but it's in line with the 75, $80 we were getting for number 0. We'll see. I don't know. Collectibles are so weird. It's weird to put, because it costs us the same amount to print both of these, right? And the idea that there's going to be whatever. Yes.
Yeah, but okay, secret variants for Comics the Magazine, folks, have been the first appearance of Terminal, first appearance of Spawn 77. You guys have killed it with both. And by the way, I was not told about either of these in advance and would have ordered more had I known, but was not informed.
We are very
Sometimes
close.
I wonder.
We are very, very close with how we talk about these things. For good reason. But yeah, it's always a challenge. Yeah. I should note that was the last week I showed off all the 5 that we did. I had to keep that one behind.
Oh, you're the worst.
That's true. I don't know. There might be some bundles left at Lunar. You should check them out right now. If not, you should pick them up.
I'm part of the team. I should get to know some things. Otherwise,
but you're also a retailer, and if we pay this, there's a fine line, my friend. There's a fine line. But you also know somebody.
Speaking of Comics the Magazine, I don't. Gabe, I don't sign NDAs. That is a. Speaking of Comics the Magazine is on FOC this coming Monday. So correct. People, if you want to get in on the awesomeness that is Comics the Magazine, and also get in on the final regular sized issue, because number 7 begins a whole new world.
40 pages.
40 pages.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going up another register size. We're going to be making it's just it's funny. We always read all of the comments, all the threads. I always read them all, and some of them I go, get over it. But sometimes when somebody says, this should be these should be a little longer. Like these articles should be a little longer. There's a point where you go, yeah, you know what? They really should. It's time to buy more paper, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, this last issue I just read the other night, and it was fantastic. Like the Mark Spears interview was really good. There's a lot of stuff I've never read. I didn't know that he owned a comic shop, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
And and you read like how close he was to just giving up, and
I know. And but couldn't get it out from a. I love stories like, I feel like I'm one of those stories of somebody just. I know I could have made more money going elsewhere. If I'd like
yeah.
gone into like, I don't know, medical equipment or something. I know I probably would be, much more comfortable. But you just can't get comics out from under your skin. And Mark Spears was one of those guys. And so when he showed up, when the time showed up for him, he knew what to do. He knew all the levers to pull. He knew all the buttons to push. Like he was ready. So yeah. Megan points out, yes, this is the violence and mayhem issue. It's going to be it's a good one. We're talking to some old friends. We've got some really cool pieces in this one. So yes, it's on your FOC. If you are a fan of comics and you're in a comic shop right now who watching this happens, go to the counter and pre-order because we want you in. And if you're a retailer, listen, I'm not going to tell you when the surprises are going to happen, but I'm never going to tell you when the surprises are going to happen.
Gabe makes a good point. I read it last week because I got it on Friday, and it is not in stores until tomorrow. So people go buy and go read this latest issue, number 5, the Mark Spears issue. You will love it. And
yeah, 100%. All right, cool. What else? What else are we talking about?
Well, let's talk about Canada. Blame Canada on this one, my friend. So Ad Populum has acquired the Toys R Us Canada brands. Now, I don't know exactly what this means because Toys R Us Canada, like, sub-licensed Toys R Us from the United States company and still exists to this day. There's still, I want to say, 12 locations. We had one in my town, but they closed like literally in January. They closed, I think it was like 80% of all locations in Canada. Toys R Us has gone through a really interesting evolution in Canada. They added this play zone, which is like a full like tunnels and tubes and things for kids to play in. But then the rest of the store like looked exactly like the plain box location that it's always looked like. So they kind of did some stuff, and then they added HMV, which is records, into the same locations, and they added another like a fast fashion kind of necklaces and chains for kids. I think it was Claire's, but I don't think that's right. And then they kind of slowly dissolved over between October of last year and like January of this year. And now I know there's 3 locations in kind of the greater Toronto area, and then there's a bunch of them out west. They're owned by the same guy that owns HMV, Sunrise Records, and one other brand that I can't remember. And apparently, they're going to continue either with the Toys R Us brand or without after this acquisition goes through. Ad Populum are friends who bought Diamond Comic Distributors,
Friends
the
is
other half.
a hard word. Let's be
our
careful with
our
friends in this one.
our known entity, our unknown known entity that bought. That's a friends is a very loose term.
Listen, so
But yeah,
Sparkle
it's
Pop, they
just a weird.
bought Diamond. They bought Diamond Comics out of bankruptcy. They took over the Olive Branch, Mississippi warehouse. They rebranded Diamond Select Brands. I'm reading now from the ICV2 story. Consolidated operations with sister company Enesco and continues to operate from Olive Branch, that massive, massive warehouse, right? Obviously, we've talked about this so much. We've talked about Ad Populum ad nauseum. I can't be the only one who's never made that joke, but essentially they strip mined all of the value out of the people who had consignment books there and made them fight, made them lose a ton of money. It's been awful for the retailers or the publishers who got caught by that. I also hear from a bunch of retailers that are choosing not to pay their bills because they don't feel like ethically they should have to, and they have collection agencies coming after them. So it's a nasty business, but obviously it's working for them because they can buy out where the kid can be a kid, apparently. So it's such a weird thing.
Did they like? There's UNESCO is part of this whole thing. Like, are they? I don't understand. Ad populum. Do they just own UNESCO? As I don't get any of it. It seems so
Uh,
confusing.
yeah. There's a point
But I
where
know they've got
you know
like
you and I run
Hallmark and all
businesses.
these other things.
You and I run
Yeah,
businesses, right? So we bring in money, and then we pay that money out to people.
yeah, yeah.
And we try and give value to our clients and our customers, right? We do our
Mm,
very best to give them as much value as we can.
mm.
There's what we do and what they do is just it's almost like it's like a different thing altogether, you know? It's
Yeah,
just very,
yeah.
very
You're
strange.
just creating an entity that has the value and not the value that you produce. Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
bizarre.
exactly. Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
we'll keep that. We'll be following the story as it goes. And ad populum, we're watching you. We know.
you make it sound so. I love it. All right, let's talk about your Prana bestsellers list.
Let's do it. The Prana bestsellers list is a project we've been working on for several years now. We put this data together using our buddy Brian and our buddy Django, all of us known as Managed Comics and Comic Shop Assistant. We take all of the store data that is in those systems and we put together a series of bestseller lists. We put together the Pullbox Power Rankings. We also do this weekly and monthly bestseller list that comes out every week. This week we don't have Sean, so I'm gonna be a really inferior version of Sean from Comics Pals, and we're gonna talk about DC Comics once again murdering Marvel. Look at that spread 42% to 32%. That's 10
Yeah,
points, 10 and a half points. Jesus.
yeah,
And really on the backs of we'll look at those titles, but people want absolute, they don't want ultimate. I think that's what we've learned is these things. Oh, wait a minute, is that nope, never mind, that's somebody else in the green room. Image Comics 16% coming in pretty standard, 14 to 18%. IDW leading the next pack at 2.5% this week. Dynamite, Dark Horse, Titan, Mad Cave Studios. I love that Mad Cave is sticking around the 1% range. Oni Press doing well. Boom Entertainment. Like this has been a pretty standard week, except for DC Comics doing so incredibly well, right? This is what the market share has become.
well, I don't know. I think IDW really kind of did some damage this week. That's a pretty high number for IDW.
Yeah, and let's
They're
see.
usually below Dynamite quite, a
It's
fair amount.
interesting
So
because they don't have any. I'm looking at the top 400 list, and they don't really have a lot of standouts. It was just in volume. They just had enough of them on the list. So IDW had Twilight Zone, number 8. They had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder, number 9.
yeah,
Yeah, they've had they had a few books, but it like nothing really, killing, as it were. Let's look at the top
yeah,
10 titles.
absolutely. Yeah, absolute Wonder Woman, absolute Superman. I believe absolute Green Arrow came out last week too.
Yeah, let's
Absolute
see.
Batman is from the previous week, so that's still selling.
Green Arrow 2 came in at number 16. Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Superman both we had 29 copies on average, 27 copies on average for Superman. Let's see. Then next is Marvel. Marvel's number 3 with so we have Absolute Superman at 27 copies per store. Ultimate Universe Finale comes in at 19 per store, right? That's a huge jump.
Jeez, yeah.
Can you imagine you're Marvel and you have Ultimate Universe Finale number 1 and
I
people
know.
want Absolute Wonder Woman number 21 more,
I
right?
know.
What's happening,
And that book,
Marvel? Where are you?
yeah.
What is going on? We
Well, and the
need you.
scary thing is, like, that's their big story, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Although they said that it will return, but who knows what that actually means?
Image Comics entering the list with Universal Monsters Blood of Wolfman, number 1 at number 13. Then we've got else? Let's see who else. Like I said, I got so spoiled by having Sean do this. Vault Comics with Nectar number 4 comes in at number 35. Titan Comics coming in at number 40 with Conan the Barbarian, we were just talking about. And yeah, IDW enters at number 52 with Twilight Zone number 8. Yeah, I mean, it's and then one of my favorite books, Bad Idea, comes on number 62 with Tab number 3. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a good week for Bad Idea too. They had third printings of The Ordained, which I know we moved a number of copies of too.
Right on.
Yeah.
I love hearing it.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. So if you love this, why wouldn't you love this? If you're like me and you don't like sports and this is much more interesting to you than whatever's going on with the soccer ball, you should be going to pranadm.com and hitting the subscribe button, because we'll send you this list, the full top 400 at the end of this week. It goes into our newsletter. And I usually have there it is. I usually have a slide. There we go. Make sure you scan this QR code or go to pranadm.com, sign up for the newsletter. We'll get you this every Friday. Megan does an amazing job of putting this together. So yeah. Marvel needs to cut down on the amount of series and just start putting out better quality in stories and get rid of all the variants. They are too addicted to variants. That's never going to happen. They're a skewed, they're a skewed factory.
I don't think the variants are the problem. I think I think the over reliance on number ones right now is a huge issue, because it just doesn't mean anything. And it's funny that it is taking 3 or 4 months for anybody to actually realize that a number one exists. And Marvel has a 5-issue cutoff, because the Cyclops series has just suddenly taken off, and it's on issue 4, I think. And I think it's been canceled already. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's I don't know what's going on there. I'm writing this piece. I'm going to give you a headline. What Marvel really needs is Bill Jemas. We'll see how that comes together.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about who the first national comics chain is. What do you mean by a national comics chain, by the way?
So here's what I'm thinking. So a national comics chain, to my mind, is something that is larger than a regional chain. We have a number of regional chains. We're going to talk about them. In fact, let's do the breakdown of who the big players are. And then we have a couple of big players in the room. We're going to be talking to them. So what is a national chain versus a regional chain? A national chain, to my mind, is 3 or more states. Possible. Actually, I would say even better than that, because I think we already have somebody like Newberry's in 6 states. But basically, I think it's somebody who is spans the U.S. Right? I mean, these comic shops are really a U.S. invention. There are shops all over the world, but the U.S. really has most of them. And so what we're looking for is somebody who is coast to coast, a major national chain. Like we would see a national chain for, I don't know, hamburgers, or, fast food, or big box retail, or any of those kinds of places. That would be a national chain to my mind. And so we've been playing around with this idea that this is the year that then the first national chain will make themselves known. It's finally, we're getting to a place where comics are growing year on year. We're seeing 15 to 20% year on year. Most stores, we're seeing incredible. We're seeing incredible growth across the board for all of the publishers that are involved. So it's time, I think, for retail is really beginning to start. We've had big retailers do announcements. We talked about Third Eye moving into a Walmart location. We talked about Coliseum opening 2 stores in Texas, when they have been mostly a regional in Florida. So what we're really starting to see is one of these players is going to become our first national chain. And so can we bring up, is it possible? Brian stepped away from his desk. If it's possible, we can bring up that leaderboard. So basically, to my mind, who is going to be the first national chain? I think that is, we know that it's down to a few people. New Dimension is a chain of stores, again, a regional around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They have 6 locations, many really large locations, and they do a lot of business in that area. And we're going to talk a little bit more about them. Could possibly be. We'll see. Who's next? I know we're rolling this out. Let's show it. Oh, the manga spot. This one is a really interesting entry into this because they do primarily do manga and light novels, but we talked to Kurt on our Comic Industry Insiders a little while ago. He really thinks that could involve comics, but we'll see where that goes. And they are in, 7? They have 7 locations in 7 different states. So they are very kind of smallish stores. So it's, they're really in hyper dense areas, but we're beginning to see Kodakawa noticing that in order to grow, they're going to need retail locations, and so they are putting their money and resources behind growing retail so that they have more room to push their product into. I think that's a fascinating model. Who's next? I don't even know how these are ranked. I'll be honest. Third Eye Comics. We talked about this. Steve Anderson, one of the smartest guys in the field. I've known this guy for a long time. He works incredibly hard, very dynamic. He and his crew are just killing it. And like I said, the newest location is moving into a Walmart. I asked Steve where we are. He's got 9 locations, square footage total of about 70,000 square feet. Jeez. Just do the math on that. 9 locations.
Walmart's got to be close to that alone,
I know,
isn't
right?
it?
Yeah, exactly. He's only in, I think, 2 or 3 states, but I think he's really a contender for this. All right, who's next? Coliseum of Comics. This is a monster. There are always they've been in the contention for the largest chain for a very long time. 12 locations. This is the first year where they've opened 2 locations in Texas. They hired in Chris Powell, who came on the show to talk about that right after he got that job, and 12 locations, mostly in Florida and in Texas. We might have a special guest who can tell us maybe a little more about what their plans are. But let's see who else we have. Graham Crackers. This one has been the leader for the longest time. Jamie Graham, he's done a huge job along with John Robinson of building this chain of stores that is right around the Chicago area and right down the middle of the state. I would say arguably, let's see, where are they? 3 different states. You could argue that they really could have been in a contender, but they seem to be kind of content where they are. So a contenter, if you will.
Contenter.
And finally, Newberry Comics, 31 locations. I'm sorry. I guess that's 3. Gabe is pointing out that they're in California as well. So I should probably update that information. Newberry Comics. This one's tough because it says comics in the title. They do have single issue comics. They have monthly comics. They have a big selection of trade paperbacks, but they're arguably more of a pop culture store than they are a comic shop, right? So it's hard. I mean, I actually debated whether or not this one should go on the list. They are regional. They're in 6 states, but all of them are in New England. And they really are focused on that sort of almost like a big box store that's super, I guess it's super regional, but also kind of comics. I don't know. We really debated whether or not to keep this one on. But to our mind, these are the contenders. These are the people who could possibly work this out. Yeah, exactly. Very FYE adjacent, 100%. Almost like a Spencer's too, right? They've got to kind of get that vibe. Anyway, so we've already talked about a couple of these. We got a couple special guests. I want to bring up the first one and our first addition to this list. Let's see. I even wrote out a little intro. Oh yeah, who did we miss? Let's get into that before we jump into John. Actually, who did we miss? By the way, part of the problem with this is that there is no good registration for who owns all of these stores. Oftentimes they'll have different accounts. They'll have different names. The Amazing Fantasy chain often has several different locations that don't all have the same title. So who else is there? If you know of some, we're going to continue to update this, and we're going to keep having this conversation. So please let us know in the comments, and we'll be reporting on yours, I'm sure, soon.
And we know there's a ton of shops that have like 5 locations, and
yeah,
your cutoff was 6, just because
it would have
5
been
is a fairly significant number.
we had 6. I mean, we had 6 entries on the list, and we did say we're cutting it off at 6. If we'd gone down to 4 or 5, I think it would be closer to 20. It was surprising to me how many regional chains have really grown over the last couple of years. It's not, I mean, it shouldn't be shocking, but you know, Ultimate Comics was obviously a notable entry that we couldn't pull on. They just moved into Florida from their North Carolina base. So it's, you know, it's adapting. So if we missed someone who has 6 or more locations, we definitely want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's bring in our first guest, shall we?
Okay.
I would argue one of the founders of New Dimension. He's not the owner, but he has been a huge part of what has made New Dimension Comics in the Pittsburgh area. He is the co-promoter of Three Rivers Comic Con. He has become the cornerstone of the Pittsburgh comics community for over 40 years. New Dimension Comics has, and he keeps Todd organized, which is its own problem. Friends and neighbors, Mr. John Engel. How you doing? How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, that was probably the best intro I could ever get, and you're absolutely right. I went to talk to Todd today about if he possibly wanted to come on to this, and he was in warehouse mode, and I'm like, nope, not even going to talk to him.
No.
Y'all need to. I'm gonna give the audience a little bit of a view in what warehouse mode is. Todd McDevitt, his job day to day is not to run all the stores. He gives that to John here. His job day to day is to buy all the collections he can, and then he sorts them into these bundles or into inventory or whatever. And then he has this insane warehouse that is just pallets and pallets and pallets and pallets and pallets for days of comics. It's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's another a semi of comics coming, I think, next week. So, and we always tell people when they bring in books, because they're like, do you want to buy my comics? I'm like, how many do you have? And they're like, well, I have like 3. And I'm like, is that too many? And I'm like, we buy it by the single, we buy it by the tractor trailer, so it's fine.
So you New Dimensions at 6 locations now, is that right? So what is the
five
average?
in PA and 1 in Ohio. Yeah.
Okay. And what is 2 states? I'm going to update that in my list. So what is the average size of your stores?
Our smallest store is approximately 2,500 square feet, and then our largest store is approximately 25,000 square feet. That does not count our warehouse, which is kind of our phantom 7th location, which is probably a good 40,000 square feet. So, but we do let people shop it. It's actually going to be open this weekend for 40 straight hours, starting Friday night at 8 until Sunday at noon, and all the dollar books in there are 40 cents a piece because we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year.
Wow.
40 cents a piece. They make a profit selling the comics at 40 cents a piece. Sit with that for a minute. You want to talk about a business model that makes no sense at all. Have you and Todd, you ever given any sort of thought to growing beyond the sort of, kind of regional area that you're in?
Yes, we've definitely had some discussions about it, but it's been very, how do I even say this? It's a little hard for what we're doing right now is so fine tuned and it works so well that to add another cog into the wheel is or into the machine, we really have to pay attention to how we're going to do it and what we're going to do and where it's going to be. And the region has places that still are starving for comics in this Western PA area, in the Northeast Ohio area and the Eastern Ohio area and the Southern, like that, the whole Northeast, because there's so many people jammed up in here that there's a lot of opportunity everywhere still available. And you know, it just depends on how far we want to make that reach go and who we can trust to have out there and run it. So
I agree with that. What would you say is the biggest? What is the resource that you're missing to really grow? At least the location count, right? I'm sure that the stores themselves are always going to be, you know, everybody wants the stores to do better, but the number of stores. What would you say is the resource that you're lacking the most?
Currently, fighting. This is gonna sound terrible, but fighting Todd to adapt to newer technology. Um, and like, as in, he doesn't know how to use our own credit card machines. He has never run the POS system. All things that make him a ton of money every year that he just doesn't. He refuses to learn it because he's like, I'd rather look at Silver Age books. And I said, that's fine. Then you stay in your lane, and I'll stay in mine, and we'll be fine.
Fair. All right. Well, I'm going to chalk that up to management. All right. There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Awesome. Well, any big plans in the next couple of years? Any things we can see coming up for New Dimension?
I mean, I would never put it past us to open a 7th store. But you know, that's going to be time and place, kind of in the moment, depending on how the market is and the reach the market for like actual space too. Like you have to find a place to do it. You know, the metrics have to hit the right way for us to really do that. But other than that, like, you know, we also have our Three Rivers Comic Con, which has been, you know, just celebrated 10 years this year. It's been great. For those of you who remember the old Pittsburgh Comic Con, it's got a lot more of a community vibe like that one does. It's good for families and friends. Our best review of that ever, as that continues to grow, was someone came a couple years ago and they said, I've been to every San Diego Comic Con that's ever existed, and if you want to know what it looked like when it started, go to this show. And I thought that was the coolest. I thought that was the coolest review I've ever gotten in my life. And you know, and then it's awesome. And you know, we continue to grow that as well as the stores. And we just had our anniversary sale last weekend, and it blew away Free Comic Book Day. It blew away Black Friday. It was insane. You know, we're just thankful for everybody that's here, and we're glad to be friends with all the other shops in the area, because I know there's a lot of areas that there's a lot more tension. In the last 17 years I've worked for this company, I've really made it a point to bridge those gaps and you know, make sure everybody understands we're all on the same page. Like we're all in the same fight here. So and I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to true now. So
Gabe in the comments says the family tree of Pittsburgh regional shops all branch off of NDC. Yeah, this is very true. And I will say that there's at least one shop that I'm thinking of that actually I think still gets their, I don't know if they still do, but they used to get to their comics through New Dimension. Like they used the New Dimension accounts. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. John, thanks for making the time today. Thanks for coming on, and keep up the good work. I want to see you.
Absolutely, guys.
We'll drag Todd into the 20th century at least, right?
Yeah, at least the 20th century, please. Please. But thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's been a blast. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. So much, all right. Well, there we go. Too many buttons. All right. Let's bring in our next guest, shall we? Phil Boyle has been one of the most respected voices in comics retail for decades. As the founder of Coliseum of Comics, one of Florida's and Texas's premier comic destinations, he's seen it all. And believe me, he will tell you exactly what he thinks about it. Welcome to the show, our buddy Phil Boyle. How you doing, Phil? I did not push that button.
Too many buttons. I didn't either.
I am good, yes. And I will tell you exactly what I'm thinking because you asked. So be careful what you ask. So
always, buddy. How's business? You've had quite a year already.
Yeah, it's been a pretty much a marathon the entire year so far. Obviously, we're closing out the first half today. Sales have been phenomenal, way up, all that kind of stuff. And when we bought we bought one store and we took over another store that had failed in January in Texas. One of the things about that was Ryan and I, Ryan is my son, who is my heir apparent to all of this. We were talking beforehand and said, as soon as we do this, the phone is going to start ringing. People are going to start talking about, well, if you're buying stores, do you want to have a conversation? Well, yes, we do. And quite frankly, the emails have come in, the phone calls have come in, the Facebook messages. So expansion is not something that's we're thinking about. It's something we're actively working on.
That's an interesting part of your model, is that, you know, unlike other chains that we're seeing that are, as John talked about, looking for those sort of comics deserts, you've really grown by acquisition or you know, assumption, I guess, in some cases.
Yeah. I mean, we're not quite the Borg here, but I do look at it and say, if you buy a store, it's kind of like the watering holes. You know, all the animals know where to go to drink water. Well, all the nerds know where to go to buy comics and games. So we just buy them. We turn them into what we do. And, you know, and when I say the nerds and the geeks and all that, hey, well, welcome to the community. That's what we do. That's who we are. So, you know, I don't say that as a derogatory term at all, but rather a celebration of what we do. So.
What was you having gone from a regional to 2 states that are, you know, now in different regions, right? What was the biggest hurdle for you logistically to move into that 2 state, as it were?
There are a lot of different aspects that you have to look at when it comes to the licensing is different. Setting up accounts is different. You know, a lot of that has been a learning curve, but you do it once, you figure it out. You do it 3 times, you're an expert. So we're working on that stuff. As far as the logistics of it, bringing Chris Powell on board has been a godsend to making this happen. Wayne and Tabitha, who we bought Generation X comics off, as I've said before, this was not a store in distress. These were 2 people who said, okay, we did good. We built this. Let's sell it. Let's retire. And that's exactly what they did. So we didn't buy a distressed operation there. We bought a very going and good concern that we're very happy to keep going. So logistics of it all, though, it's just getting used to the workflow of different stores, different states, different time zone.
I would imagine so. All right, let's ask a question. I know you've actually given a presentation on this once when I was in the room, and I think I was even a slide in that presentation. When you're taking over, let's say that you're a store that is maybe seeing some of the success of everybody in our world is seeing, but is maybe not doing as good as they think they should be. Like if they wanted to turn their store around in the way that you would be turning them around, what are the biggest things that you see that stores like that should be doing today?
Some of the primary things that we're looking at is, and we saw this back in the era when Pokemon was really hot in 99, 2000, 2001, as it was coming into the market. It was the hottest thing out there. And every store who thought, you know, that the money is going to last forever, well, obviously they were wrong. That's where we are right now. We're seeing these huge ups with the Absolute line, the DC Compact Editions, which are doing great. We're seeing huge things with the CCGs, which are doing phenomenal. All these things are temporary. They will not last. So the question is, what are you doing in your store to ensure that when these things slow down, and I don't see CCGs crashing, I just see them becoming more available, which means the markups won't be there, which means the profit margin isn't there, which means there's not enough money to keep a lot of stores going. So what are you doing to expand beyond, you know, I always call it pushing wagons uphill versus riding them downhill. Are you pushing wagons uphill so you can ride it later? Or are you just riding the easy ride right now? Because that easy ride, it does hit bottom sooner or later, and then you got to start pushing it back uphill. So what are the things you should be doing right now while the money's good to keep you afloat when the money's not phenomenal?
It's a good point.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the things they say in marketing is like the best time to marketing is when you're actually your busiest. The worst time to market is when you're desperate for customers. And
Going out of
that's
business.
exactly what you're saying.
Bad time
Yeah,
to start marketing.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Phil, I know from talking to you over the years that if we wanted to give a master class, you would be the instructor. So I'm always happy to have you on. What do you if we have to look, say, 5 years down the road, where is it? Is it you? Is it your heir apparent? Is it or what does Coliseum look like in, I don't know, 2030?
I expect I'll be chairman of the board at that point, which means I come in once a week, have lunch, and look at numbers. But other than that, I see us expanding. I don't see things slowing down at this point. Yes, they will slow down in specific categories. We will have changes. We will have different types of things in the market that are going to affect us, good, bad, or ugly. But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities. And as we've seen a grain of the retailer base, mainly my peers, your peers, the people who opened up stores 20, 30, 40 years ago, hello, those people are looking to the next step. Is that retirement? If they have somebody who's ready to take it on, absolutely keep going, keep it in the family, whatever. If they don't, that's the people we're being approached by right now and saying, are you interested in acquiring a store in, East Idaho or whatever? No, nobody's approached us from Idaho yet. I just threw that out there. But that's where the market's going to be. That's how we plan to expand. And I do see us having at least double the stores by then.
Oh, double's a big number. That's it's gonna put you, that puts you that puts you at the top of the leaderboard. I can see that.
What are you looking for when you're looking at a new store?
I just wrote an article about what's your store worth. You can find online, but a lot of it is, do you have a customer base? That's the biggest thing. Do you have people who love your store, who come by weekly, who are part of a gaming community? Are you servicing a viable community? Or like one store we looked at, do you have a Facebook page saying that's titled "People have been screwed over by insert store name here"? There was actually a store that had that, and so that was
As the title.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. It was such a negative goodwill situation that I said I wouldn't have taken the store for the cost of rekeying the front door. So there's a lot of good stores. There's a lot of underfinanced stores that they just need a little bit of help. So
I believe that. I definitely believe that. Okay. I had another question. It just went right out of my head. All right. I think we're just gonna let it go. Phil, thank you so much for coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing this expansion happen, and what's good for Coliseum is good for comics. So let's keep that growth going. I love it.
I appreciate it. All right. Have a great week.
Bye. Thanks so much, Phil. Bye-bye.
All right.
That article that Phil mentioned is actually on ICV2. I totally remember reading it. It's called Comic Store Week: What's My Store Worth? So if anybody's interested in that, go check it out. I remember reading it. It came out in April. I totally remember reading it back then. It was a really, really good article.
If anybody wants to drop that into the comments on our team, feel free. We'll definitely get that, or we'll get it into the later version. So cool. Awesome, man. It's good to have people who know what they're talking about on the show. That's always nice.
Yeah. It's really nice.
It's a nice change of pace from
exactly.
us. Yeah.
Hey, you know what else would be a nice change of pace?
What would that be?
Let's pop up Gabe for us. Gabe, what are you reading right now?
Are you reading something?
Huh? No, I was just admiring the cover of issue number 5.
Oh, but it's weird because it looks like you have classifieds up. Tell us about classifieds.
Classifieds. Oh my goodness gracious! $1 a word. Could you imagine?
Could you
imagine the kind of return on ad spend that you're looking at with $1 a word here, my friends.
That's insane. That's insane.
Hop on in, get your classified in the hands of the next secret variant seeker. Right? And it'll live forever. Right? Like, look, Adam said this best months ago. He said classified ads are the original social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with it. The beautiful thing, the thing that I love most about being part of a print magazine is that no matter what we do, no matter how hard we try to scrub the world of all of these issues, we never will. Nope. Have you ever gone to a flea market in suburban New Jersey on the side of some highway in a giant field and gone through long boxes and found 50 copies of Ninjak #1?
I have no idea where this is going.
Exactly. Yeah. And in 30 years, you're going to go to a flea market somewhere in suburban New Jersey and you're going to find your classified ad. And somebody's going to scan that QR code and go, yes, you know what? I do want you to letter my book, Leo.
Stuck the landing.
Stuck the landing. That's amazing.
You know what?
Look, at a $20 minimum, I mean, look, you're going to spend that on lunch today, or you did already. And ultimately, it's invest in you is what I'm saying. Invest in you today.
Skip a meal. Invest in you. That's what you could use to skip a meal. Okay, whoever you are, just skip one meal.
Look, you don't have to do hot yoga like Adam. You just have to skip a meal or two and buy a classified ad.
I think that what we're doing is we're saying buy classified ads as part of your intermittent fasting strategy.
There you go. There you go. Right there. Yeah.
Drink a ton of water. Yeah. Buy classified ads every month.
Listen, let me give you. Okay, so if you go to McDonald's and you buy the extra value meal that is the McDouble small fry, small cook, it's $5.
It is.
Now, if you were gonna buy the regular Big Mac meal, I think it's like $20 these days. You do that 2 times, and you can have $30 for classified ads.
That's incredible.
Come on,
that's incredible. This math, I don't.
You know what? You just learned a lesson.
Here's some other math. What Phil often says is that his stores, he's got 2 line items: advertising and rent. Right.
Yep.
So if you're paying whatever you're not paying in rent, you should be paying for advertising. So let's say you have, you're doing really well, and your rent is a smaller proportion of your revenue. Maybe a little piece of that.
Yeah.
Look, simple. It's a simple prospect. All you got to do is email that guy right there, Gabe at comicsthemagazine.com, or classifieds at comicsthemagazine.com, and we'll take care of you that way. But I think we buried the lead here, because look, you're not just getting a classified ad in a local newspaper. You know who's designing your classified ad? You have any idea? Just one of the creators of Spider-Gwen. No big deal. What are we doing? Why are you sleeping on this?
That's awesome.
The rest of those faces up here, I'm sick of looking at myself.
I've forgotten how to pull you back down.
That's great.
Yeah, okay, great.
So good.
There you go. Less bougie coffee, more promoting comics. There you go.
Comics Magazine.
Ad. Comics Magazine. Available now. Thank you, Gabe. Oh, I did the button.
All right. Let's also talk about the Prana Bullet. Every week you can get in your inbox.
Go.
The Prana Bullet. It is full of news. It's full of information that you need. It's full of all the Prana product that is on FOC that week. And you get 400 individual items that are on the Prana bestseller list every single week, every Friday, in your email inbox, probably by the time you're ready for your second copy. Maybe your first, but depends on whether or not we push that button early enough. Definitely your second coffee, though.
Who
We'll
pushed
have it
that
ready
button
for
again? I don't know.
you.
Oh man,
All right,
we're
and
yeah.
finally,
Yes.
talk to us.
Let's scan this. I want you to get on our mailing list. I want you to check it out. You can for Comics the Magazine. There are going to be announcements. There are going to be things that we drop on you. They're going to be surprises. Many of you have subscribed, and we're going to be sending out things. There are going to be secret offers, perhaps coming in soon. I mean, there is one, you're going to want to be on our mailing list. So scan that QR code or go to comicsmagazine.com and hit the subscribe button. We want to get you on there. It should, did we, let's see. I have no idea what the rundown is completely dead. Oh, next week. Oh, this is going to be good.
This is I think this is crazy because the queue ends today, technically, and you're saying that we're going to have Q2 results.
Yes, we are.
Q2 results. Good God. All right.
We're going to turn this
Hold on
around.
to your
We're going to make
hats,
this happen. So also this is so what we do at Prana, one of the things we like to do is we do panels at conventions like everybody. And one of the things we like to do is we'll do recorded versions of those panels because if you can't be there, right? So we had this idea. We're doing a panel in San Diego this year that's going to be about this feature in Comics the Magazine.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of my favorites. We once again use our friends at Managed Comics and Comic Shop Assistant to put together the Pullbox Power Rankings. This is in every issue. This is a preview for those of you who are not going to buy it until tomorrow of the number 5 Pullbox Power Rankings. This basically tells you who is subscribing to what in your local comic shops, who is pre-ordering based on the covers, who are the writers that are getting the most attention. This changes every month, and what we're doing next week is we're going to talk about the Pullbox Power Rankings, and we're going to talk about who should be on there, who isn't on there, why aren't they on there. Like let's bring your opinions. I want to hear about what let's hear about what you think about this list. We want your hot takes. We're going to ask you next week to be part of the show more than ever. Like we might even open it up, bring a few of you in. We're going to have, I don't even know if Joe knows it yet, but Joe Keating, who is our editor-in-chief at Comics and Magazine, he's going to be here working our room, getting used to this idea because this is going to be our San Diego panel. We may even have a couple special guests, people who have been really interested in this, come back next week. We're going to lay it out on the field. We're going to talk about why some certain people are doing well in comics and certain people aren't. It's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it. I love this conversation because like people have opinions and that's nice, but we have data. I used to always say that at my old job, like people would come up to me and say, I think, and I would say, oh yeah, oh, that's cool. I know.
Listen, Joe, I know. Did we discuss this? I don't remember if we discussed it or not.
Sometimes you got to do some things that you don't want to do.
That's right. I hope you didn't have a meeting planned next week because, cancel it.
I just got canceled.
It should be noted for those of you who have stuck around, if you're in the deep end with us, normally there's a little paying the bills section in the middle. We weren't able to put that together, but all of our pre-order data or our excuse me, what's the word I'm looking for? Our FOC data is going to be in the newsletter this week. We had a member of our team had some issues and that we just weren't able to put it together. So it's a really ambitious show, brings a lot of people together to try and pull together all this data. And this week didn't quite happen. So,
but I'm sure those videos will also be on social media this week.
That's true.
Point too, right?
The videos will all be up on YouTube. We will link to them in the newsletter.
So
we don't, don't take our word for it. Check out our YouTube channel and you can find out what you need to know in order to make your orders this week. So there you go. Awesome, buddy.
All right, buddy.
You have anything else?
No. You know what we didn't do?
What?
So I went away to Nova Scotia last week. Well, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. No, I was away last week, right? That's where I was. Yeah, I was there last week when we did this meeting.
Time's a flat circle.
Show. So when I was there, I visited comic shops. I visited a whole bunch of comic shops. I think 7 in my week. And just like some of the things I saw were just kind of, a little bit mind-boggling. There's still people using calculators to bring people out, not cash registers, calculators. Happens. There's folks that are using systems that are wonderful. There was one shop, there were 2 shops actually, that I walked into, and the people that I walked into were so super friendly and kind to me that I bought way more stuff than I intended to because I was having conversations with people who were nice. So yeah, like it's that it's an interesting world out there. There's folks that you can tell are on the tail end of their career and don't really want to be there anymore. And then there's
Yeah.
people that are doing wonderful things. So yeah, it was it
I
was it was eye-opening and interesting.
somebody, and I won't say who because it was in a private retailer group. Somebody sent me a screen grab of our buddy Phil Boyle, who was who, I will say what you will about Phil because he does have opinions and a lot of people go into conflict with him. I've had conflicts with Phil over the years, but I swear to God, he gives away as much information as he uses. He doesn't hold that too tightly. And I appreciate that about him and his team so much. But one of the things that I saw in this screen grab, because people send me stuff that comes from private retailer groups occasionally, is he was talking about how he goes into shops, like he was on a road trip and he goes into shops and the first part of the store either is empty or it's poorly merchandised or it's
I read that,
dirty.
yeah.
I mean, that's a rant we could have done yesterday or last week too, right? It's
Yeah.
in this day and age when you know that you have a new audience coming in, how do you not take the baited shit out of the window? Take the baited
Absolutely.
shit out of the window.
Oh man, dude, the number of stores that still have like DC all in posters in the front of their stores, in their windows, it's just like, and why
Yeah.
can't I see into the store? It's so weird to cover every square inch in,
Ugh.
especially nowadays that we have like UV reflective coatings that you can put on where you can still see in, and yet I hear you. Yeah, that was a great. Phil wrote a really, really good kind of post on Facebook about what he saw and the number of like shops he walks into where it's all dusty and you can tell that it's just they
Yeah,
don't care anymore. Yeah,
I know.
that was really good.
It is.
But
It is.
anyway, I
Yeah.
also saw
Anyway,
some wonderful stores that like are changing the world and that I'm so excited are part of the managed comics empire and growing every day. So there you go. That's what I'll leave you with. And I'm
I did.
gonna I'm
You
gonna
didn't get a
vanish. Talk
CTA
to
this week, you know.
I don't need them. I don't need them. My people talk about me all the time. See you, buddy.
So, are you one of those that's changing the world? Are you somebody who's showing up and you're pulling the faded stuff out of the window and you're learning about new systems and you're working every day to make an environment that people want to show up to? Thank you. If you are one of the guys or the crew, rather, I won't even say guys anymore because it's not the crew of people that are putting together these massive chains that are going to grow across our nation and around the world to bring comics to everyone. Thank you. If you are somebody who's building systems like our buddy Brian, our buddy Django, Stu, you're out there. Like if you are building systems for these people so they can grow and they can scale, thank you. And if you are publishers or seeing this opportunity and you're putting new content in, the kind of content that new audiences are going to want, thank you. Because each and every one of you, everybody I just listed this week, you saved comics. Namaste, y'all.